Kiwi.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The best ideas are free with Ben Young from Bwaggy.com.
BWAGY.com on Twitter and right here in the Kiwi studio. Ben Young, good morning.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So, can I start off by asking, well, actually, I kind of know, what time of year is your birthday?
Middle of the year.
So, kind of middle of the year.
Yeah.
So, when you started school, you were you weren't the youngest, but you weren't the oldest, right? You know, going through school, you're middle of the year.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You'd almost be closer to the oldest side, though.
Yeah, closer to the older side.
What I want... I'm in September, so I was always the youngest.
Yeah.
Then I went to a country school and skipped a year, so I was even younger again. Yeah. But what I wanted to talk about was the Matthew effect. And the Matthew effect, in short, is the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And the reason that this happens is once someone achieves, they get a little bit of reward. So they achieve again and they extend themselves. And then they get another reward. And all that happens is that you get into the cycle of reward and achievements so that something or someone keeps getting better and better and better.
That Matthew's got a lot to answer for.
So from that perspective, again, if you become wealthy and get successful, then people know about you. You get more success and more reward and more recognition. So once you reach a certain level, it only keeps increasing. And so coming back to that, it's the rich get even richer and the poor, because they're not getting any of this reward, they're not moving. So the gap only gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Which is, now that you say it, seems really obvious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty obvious. But so if we can accept that as a framework, can we look at other instances?
Oh, I don't want to accept it as a framework, Ben. We shouldn't accept it, but we accept that
we accept that it's
The
reality.
way it works, yeah.
Whether or not it should be that way is something else.
Yeah.
Which is, and this is drawing a little bit from Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers. And what he was saying is that this rolls out into other parts of our life.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense. And if you go back to high school and you remember your class, if you look at performance based on physical attributes, for example, rugby, sports, and, well, to a degree, reading and writing.
The skinny ones, readers and writers.
Yeah. But if you look at each class, the better people were probably those that were a bit older. Yeah. In terms of, if you were 6 months older when you're 6 years old, that's actually a big difference when it comes down to sports. If you've been reading and writing an extra 6 months, that also makes a big difference. So what happens is, between the ages of 5 and 10, some people have gotten ahead just because they were born 6 months early, and this is Malcolm Gladwell's point, that if you're born at the right time, it can make a big difference. Yeah. So if you were born in, let's say, March, versus someone who was born in November, and you're in the same year at school, someone has, a 6-7 month lead ahead of you. So what happens at this age is that, Ben's a really good reader. Let's give him more support. Let's give him harder books. So what happens is, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Yeah. So due to this unfair advantage of me being born 6 months earlier...
You're going to what?
I'm going to read at a much higher level, or maths, or with rugby. And Malcolm Gladwell actually looked at the Hockey League in Canada. What he found was, I think it was... The numbers were... It was about two-thirds, maybe 16 out of 27, of the top hockey players coming into the league each year were born within a 3-month period. I.e. the start of the year. And so that showed the effect of this flowing through our schools. And that if you were born at the start of the year, you were much taller, much stronger, so you were better at hockey, so you got more training, you got extra classes. And so once you string that out over 10 years, actually being born at the start of the year makes a big difference to being born at the end of the year. Yeah.
So, in acknowledging that and knowing that, doesn't it, and if you're not part of that exclusive club, doesn't it make you just go, oh well, that was that then?
So this is his point. He's saying, firstly, that timing, especially as kids, is an impact. And so his suggestion was that for the hockey club, they have 2 seasons so that they can nurture both ends of talent. If you're born in the first 6 months of the year, you're in this pool. If you're born in the second 6 months, you're in this pool. Right. Just to kind of quash those differences at a younger age. Yeah. The other thing that he points out, though, is that you can circumvent some of this by really persevering and getting really good at a topic And in his analysis, people that spent 10,000 hours doing something could quash the Matthew effect somewhat and still achieve above and beyond. And that was the whole idea of his book, looking at what makes people become outliers so that they're so much better at something than the average level of performance.
Yeah. Makes sense, though. 10,000 people, so people who play 10,000 hours of a particular game
but
would
also,
be better.
If you kind of look at that, who are the ones playing the most? Probably, again, those that got rewarded earlier on.
Right.
So it's quite an interesting analogy, and it gives a lot of insights into different things around us.
Yeah.
And I think schooling especially is a crucial one, because at 6 years, being 6 months older is actually, that's 10% longer lifespan. That is actually quite a big advantage. And there must be a lot of students left to the wayside because they happen to be, born in the latter part of the year.
Do we know why it's called the Matthew effect?
It was the name of the sociologist that came up describing the effect on society. But I thought that was just quite interesting. Something to think about.
Something to think about on this Monday.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Ben.
All good. Thank you.
BWAGY.com and on Twitter as well.